Tada Vrishadvaja Dvesha Kalilatma Prajapatihi Shivava Lokadabhavach Chara Drada Ivamalaha. At that time, when Daksha saw Lord Shiva, who rides upon a bull, his heart, which was polluted by envy of Lord Shiva, was immediately cleansed, just as the water in a lake is cleansed by autumn rains. So this is Canto 4, Chapter 7, Text 10 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Tada is the first word in the verse. It means at that time. So this moment when Daksha has a transformation is very significant. For us also, on our path of self-realization, the moments when we become aware of the purpose of life, when we become aware of Krishna, of God, and of our relationship with Him, are very significant. So we may say this is a time of awakening, that we are awakening in a certain moment. And many stories are there in the Bhagavatam of personal transformation. And we see that Daksha has experienced personal transformation. Unfortunately, this was forced. It was forced. He had to undergo suffering. He had to be punished in order to understand something. So the problem with us, conditioned souls, is that we cannot understand things if we don't suffer, if we don't get pain. We cannot understand what is right, what is wrong. And first-class intelligent people learn by hearing. They don't have to experience suffering. They understand already that this is not good, this will bring suffering. Second-class people learn by mistakes, preferably not making too many mistakes. And third-class intelligent people, they don't learn even by making many mistakes, and they repeat the same mistakes again and again. I think this reminds you of someone, maybe. So you can choose to learn by hearing, but to come to that point, actually, we need to go through the school of hard knocks. And because school of hard knocks is not only primary school, high school, but it's also university. So you go through all the stages. University of hard knocks means that we have experienced a lot of hard knocks and we are still didn't learn. So Daksha, fortunately, due to hard knocks, he actually came to his senses. Srila Prabhupada says, came to his consciousness. Sometimes maybe devotees preach to you and tell you, come on, wake up. Why are you so attached to illusion? But this doesn't help very much. If I tell you wake up, you will say, no, I will not wake up just because you tell me. I don't want to wake up. Okay, so good luck. But so awakening, when we are applying our free will, that's the real awakening, when there is your free will. So we have to respect everybody's free will. If somebody doesn't want to surrender, we cannot force him. We can only inspire him. Just like some devotees really love Srila Prabhupada, and they want to put Prabhupada in the center, they want Srila Prabhupada really glorified more. But you cannot force people to do this. You can only, although Srila Prabhupada is our founder Acharya and the main Shiksha Guru, and our savior, but some people don't read his books, don't listen to him. Maybe they think about their guru or maybe about somebody else. So you cannot force people to love anyone. You can only try to inspire them, and by your love, but your example. So in the Bhagavatam there are so many stories with so many problems. Why? because we have problems. And Krishna wants to show us that how they are dealing with problems, conflicts, there is envy. And now, one great victory for Daksha was that he gave up envy. That's a big thing. This is a big thing. So we are always telling devotees, help people, support people, but this is very difficult to do if you still have envy in your heart. But if we have envy in our heart and we serve as if we don't have envy, then heart becomes purified. Heart becomes purified. So what happened with Daksha? How he was able, first of all, he was offensive to Lord Shiva, and second of all, he became purified just by seeing Lord Shiva with a favorable perception, favorable outlook. So you are doing this thing that Daksha has done. You are doing it every single day. When you see the deities, you are looking at the deities with fascination, with delight, favorably. You don't think, oh, deities, I don't like them very much. But you think, wow, every day. When I was in Golokadam, one Mataji said that every day I think today is the best altar. Then the next day I see, oh, today is even better. Then the next day she said, oh, today is even better. So every day altar is better and better and better. Thank you. So Krishna is so kind that he, simply by manifesting his form, he is bringing so much auspiciousness to the conditioned souls. And simply by seeing him, they get purified. But what is the secret of this easy advancement? To me, the secret is attitude. If one has a servant attitude, then he can get all the benefits of everything. If one is criticizing, grudging, offensive, he cannot get results of all these spiritual opulences, of all these spiritual activities. It's like we are riding a car at the same time pressing the brakes. And how far you can go. And how fast you can go. So offenses are like brakes. And if you release the brake, you go, you go really, really fast. The other day on Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja, we watched the video of Srila Prabhupada, and he was imitating the truck. I can't imitate it the same as he said, but devotees were laughing a lot. He said they're riding a truck. They think this is the success of civilization, is to run here and there with a car or with a truck. So if you want to go fast in spiritual life, try to avoid offenses. You can read every day offenses mechanically and continue your day with making all of these offenses or some of them. So yes, it's good to remind ourselves, but more important than reading in the morning is to actually avoid them consciously every single day. Maybe read them whole day and see, checking if I'm making these offenses to the holy name. So devotees say, I have no taste for reading, I have no taste for chanting. Why? It must be that you are making some offenses. That's why you don't have taste. So you have to stop doing something and start doing something and continue doing something. So continue what you're doing well, start doing something that is favorable and you are not doing it, and stop doing something that is unfavorable and you are doing it as your regular habit. There was an instance, who was this? Indra and Prithu, they also had a conflict, Prithu Maharaj, but they also decided to give up envy. In our Devotee Success Partnership Guide, we have this verse from the, I think maybe 4th canto also, I'm not sure, that it says that they gave up envy, they embraced each other, they forgave each other. So in order to be successful in spiritual life, it's very important how we deal and relate to devotees. Krishna wants us to respect every single devotee. People who are Krishna conscious, who want Krishna, or who are even only interested in Krishna are very rare. Very, very rare. So therefore they are very special. Even if they are not perfect at the moment, and therefore they deserve the highest respect in the human society. I remember when I first went to the temple, Villa Vrindavan, near Florence in Italy, because I read about devotees before I ever met them. My impression was that they are perfect, that they are walking half meter above the ground, or a little less, 30 centimeters. And then when I went there, I saw, oh, there is so many imperfect people here. But then somebody mentioned this shower. He says if you are muddy and if some person is muddy and they are under the shower, you don't criticize them. Oh, you are so muddy. Oh, he's under the shower. He is getting purified. He's getting purified. Even if they are not perfect at the moment. What did he say? Amalaharina mamya vilasa. Here's the word amalaha, cleansed. Amalaharinam, pure harinam, pure holy name. So, just as the water in a lake is cleansed by autumn rains, is this Zurich lake? Is it flowing? Is there flowing water and come in, come out? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's cleansed. Oh, that's great. You don't know about come out, but if it come in,
yes.
Come out also.
Come in, no?
Also come in. Okay. I mean, our river is going to the lake, isn't it? This river here that passes the temple. It's not a river. It's a rivulet.
But the Limat is coming out, no?
Yeah, the lake is coming in. There are many rivers around the lake.
Okay. Well, I'm speaking about refreshing the water, and also the water can be refreshed with the autumn rain. So you see here, we see the influence on Daksha's character is so powerful by this one auspicious activity of favorably looking at Lord Shiva, So we should train ourselves to favorably look at every devotee. Instead of looking at a devotee thinking, oh, look at him, he's like this, and he has this I don't like, and he has this that I don't like, and this I don't like in his looks, and this I don't like in his character, and this I don't like in how he speaks. So instead of thinking like this, we think, oh my God, let me become like a bee, and look what is nectar in this devotee. He's amazing, he's chanting the holy name, he's eating tons of prasada, he's going on Harinam near the lake, and people are just being attracted. And do you have a basket for donation? No?
Sometimes.
Okay. I wanted to say people are giving a lot of donation, but I'm not sure if you have a basket. So, yeah?
Donation?
Huh?
There is donation box there?
No, in the lake.
Yeah, we have a basket.
In the lake.
Harinam. Not in the lake, near the lake. So Prabhupada said, be a bee, not a fly. Bee, bzz. Anybody was bitten by a bee? There is bees upstairs. You're not bitten by what? Oh, there are wasps. Oh, Krishna. Don't be a wasp who is stinging people with criticism. So imagine if you can see everyone every day as if you don't know them, as new. I tell Grihastas, because after some time Grihastas they get bored with each other, because they know all their jokes or their weaknesses. You know, after sometimes it becomes boring to have a partner. But I tell them, imagine every day you see your wife is completely new, you don't know her, she's a very interesting person, or your husband. try to keep this attitude the whole day. And then you may be surprised that actually they are interesting people, but you didn't recognize their qualities. They have nice qualities. And sometimes they have new ideas. That is also interesting. So, and in Krishna consciousness it is said, well, Krishna is Nama Yovanam Cha, he is always fresh, always young. And in our tradition, we respect seniority, but at the same time we also respect juniority. Like sometimes, the young devotees tell me, who am I to speak, who am I to give class, who will listen to me? And I said, what about Shukadeva Goswami? He was 16 years old. So what about his preaching? And all these saints and sages with beards, they are listening to Shukadeva Goswami, who is, first of all, he's a teenager, 16-year-old, second of all, he's naked. So he's not bona fide. Why? Because he's realized he has transcendental knowledge. He's above the rules. And nobody dared to preach to Maharaj Parikshit at the moment of death. They are all waiting for him. They were all waiting for him. So we never know all these young people, who are they. Maybe in the next life they were 10 times better devotee than me. And now, because I have gray hair, I may think that I am more advanced. That's not true. It's not true. So therefore, one has to be careful how one deals with anybody, including young people, new people, and like this. Maharaj Raghunatha had a great realization when he was offending Jada Bharata. Jada Bharata was carrying his palanquin and he was talking some nonsense. Jada Bharata broke his Mauna Vrata, or vow of silence, so he couldn't tolerate this ignorance. He broke. Preaching is more important than shutting up, and Mauna Vrata. And he then preached to him, and then Maharaj Raghunatha saw, oh my God, this guy is my guru. He is not my carrier or palanquin. And he offered obeisance, he apologized, and he said, the worst of anything that exists is offenses to devotees. Offenses to devotees. Just when I was in Gurukadam, I was saying to devotees that as a leader, as a manager, you can make so many offenses. You can completely ruin your spiritual life by the way you deal with devotees. I have seen it so many times in 40 years, 38 years. So one who has a responsibility to deal with devotees or to engage devotees or to correct devotees, he can ruin his spiritual life if he makes offenses by improper dealings. So it's very dangerous. You can make advancement by taking responsibility, managerial responsibility, but you can also make a lot of offenses to devotees by the way you deal with them disrespectfully. So now we have in all these conflicts in the Bhagavatam and different situations, like also, Daksha, he offended Shiva, he offended Narada Muni. He's just, he's just famous for this. So here, what is this sound?
Helicopter.
It doesn't pass, it's just in one place.
Now it's the hospital there.
Huh?
Because the hospital. This hospital is here.
Helicopter is in the hospital.
Yeah, he brings somebody up.
Okay.
But we can cross it.
Yeah, please, just before the helicopter leaves, then we can open it again. I thought it will pass, but it doesn't pass, it just stay there. So, when one makes offenses, what one should do? One should actually rectify. One should apologize sincerely. And the best apology is what? What is the best apology? I'm sure you know. Yes?
Change behavior.
If I would have a cookie, I would hit you with a cookie. The best apology is change behavior. You can apologize thousands of times, but if you repeat the same offense, then you are not sincere. You are not true. You are not real. And also, another way to apologize is say, I did this once. I give you one example. If you want to do this, I think. I mean, if you want to be honest, you can do this. So for how can I convince myself or God that I'm sorry for my mistake? I have to pay. I have to pay. So once I was a little negative with my wife because she irritated me, and she said, "Oh, you're a coach. You're Mr. Positive. Why are you negative now?" Then I said, "Okay, next time I become negative with you, I will give you £10. At that time, £10 meant something. It was not so little. It was like 15 years ago or more. And I also have a small wage, so I couldn't afford to give her £50. I could afford 10, but for me it's something. It's not nothing. And so after that, I paid once and never again. I mean, I never again was negative. That's why I didn't pay, not because I didn't pay because I don't want to. So how you can show yourself or God that you are sincere about correcting your mistake? You have to pay. So I say, devotees come to me and say, how can I control anger? I say, it's easy. Every time you get angry, give 50 euros to the temple. Sometimes I say to me, but that's a joke. No. Give 50 euros to the temple or to the BBT. And next time, when you feel I'm getting angry, you will also see, as you're getting angry, cash is flying out of your pocket. So, it doesn't pay off to get angry. And, it's a very effective way of controlling anger. Then we can speak about being honest, and we can say, how will you show Krishna that you are honest about your japa? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Rama Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna Krishna. Ooh, Krishna Krishna Krishna. YouTube, Hare Bol. Wow, this dog is singing, amazing. It's almost like Chaitanya Charitamrita. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh, I have to send this message now. It will be life or death if I didn't send. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Oh, I'm tired. Yesterday feast was so big, and I'm still digesting. I have to take a little rest. So this can be our japa, So how will you show Krishna that you are serious about your japa? For example, don't eat until you finish your rounds. What about that? How many would vote for this? 1.5, far out. Okay, that's something. Good start. Let's be positive. Then, no laptop, no smartphone, no interruptions, no snacks during japa. No Vedic medicine or Vedic bonbon or Vedic sweets, like healing sweets, because, for my throat, to chant better, I have to put one sweet, which is also healing herb. And, so many distractions, sleeping during japa, or maybe doing something more significant, like maybe writing your book. So, we can have a very relaxed spiritual life. Come on, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. You have sunglasses, good car, and I'm a Sunday feast bhakta. I come for Sunday feast only exactly at the time of prasadam, and immediately I leave after prasadam. You can have all kinds of spiritual life. I remember when I came for the first time, and there was one bhakta. He's still the devotee. He's amazing. He was former heavy drug addict, but he's very sincere. So he's like a hippie who travels by hitchhiking. And when I came, my first service was cleaning a little bit. Second service, big pots, huge kitchen, 200 devotees. So he is doing everything alone, and they gave me to him to help him because he is suffering, doing everything alone, huge pots. And then I spoke to him, And I say, how are you doing? What are you doing? I mean, how are you living? He said, well, I travel from temple to temple and I get prasadam and I wash pots, I do some service. But I think he didn't chant 16 rounds. He was just somehow devotees accept him. I met him a couple of years ago in Radesh. He's now much older. And so I saw, I can be like him easily because I also hitchhiked. But then there is this, like, there is one, his name was Mahatma. Every day he gets up at 3 o'clock and goes on Sankirtan whole day. So, you can choose what kind of standard you want to have. But depending on your standards, you will get results. You want love of God, but are you ready to pay the price? How many of you know what is the price of success? Except loliam. Not mention loliam, something else. Loliam is high. Yes?
Hard work, jealousy, envy, and loneliness. That's the price you pay.
You mean to give up this?
No, to be successful, that's the price you pay.
Jealousy is price.
Yes, that's what comes after it.
Okay.
And you will lose a lot of friends, and you will lose a lot of family members. And
What do you say first? Hard work. Hard work.
But like, if you do it smartly, like it's gonna be joyful actually, because if you love what you do, and then it should be an easy run actually. But the other points I mentioned, those are the side effects, and they're very cruel, and they're even more cruel than everyone here can ever imagine. And yes, I'm speaking out of experience.
I think this is not your first life that you practice spiritual life. Because nobody can speak like this if this is first life. That's bold. Okay, any other price? These are heavy prices. Any other? The first step to be successful is to find out what is the price of success. The second step is what?
Pay it.
Yes, to pay it. So when I have seminars, I ask devotees, how many of you want success? Almost everyone raised their hand. How many of you know the price of success? Half raise their hand. How many of you are ready to pay the price of success? 2, 3 hands. So to me, to be successful in spiritual life, we have to understand what is the price that we have to pay and start paying it on a daily basis, not on a monthly basis or a weekly basis or a yearly basis. On a daily basis, paying the price. Day in and day out. So when you see a successful person, it's not an accident. You will say, oh, it's easy for you, you're lucky. So how is luck created? Luck is created by hard work over long periods of time. This is how we create luck. Luck is not that you are hit with the blessings from the skies and I'm not hit with blessings from the skies because you are more lucky, because God likes you more, and things like this. This doesn't exist. Okay, we know about Kripa Siddha, we heard about this, but this is an exception. So, they have done a research of companies who were successful over 50 years. One of them is Gillette, one of them is Walgreens. You don't know Walgreens, that's an American company. Gillette, you know, Gillette is these razors. So they're very successful also. So they analyzed why they're successful over 50 years. I mean, this is a huge criteria to measure success, very strict criteria to measure success over 50 years. And they have very strict standards. So, first of all, they had a leader who was both very humble, but also very professional, very intelligent. And then they had teams which cooperate. They had people who are genuine, who are sincere. So all these companies, they had similar culture and similar qualities. And so sometimes they ask them, when did you become successful? And they say, well, sometimes between 1950 and 1970. So that's 20 years. So how do you become successful? Over long periods of time. That is real success. Real success. And therefore, Varaha Purana says that advancement is not measured by how much you are ecstatic in kirtan, or maybe you are sitting in the corner. Advancement is measured by the steadiness. How steady you are day in and day out in devotional service. How steady you are in chanting 16 rounds or more, day in and day out, every single day. And also the next one, merciful vibrations that come from your mouth. Merciful vibrations. So, yesterday, I want to share, now towards the end of the class, I want to share with you a quote from the conversation, morning walk of Srila Prabhupada in Perth, Australia, that I got from Vishnumurti Prabhu, and I didn't know it exists. It's one of the best quotes I have heard from anywhere, any scripture, any saintly person, and I want to share it with you. And the quote is about who can love better, who can love the best. Everyone. Who can love the best people? So we are giving Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada says. That is loving, real loving. We are giving him eternal life, eternal bliss. Him means any person who comes to Krishna consciousness. We are giving him eternal life, eternal bliss. Unless we love them, and we are taking so much, why we are taking so much trouble? The preacher must love the people. Otherwise, why he is taking? He can do it for himself at home. Why he is taking so much trouble? Why in 80 years old I have come here if I do not love? So who can love better than a preacher? So this is a proper statement about love, about preaching to people. So you have heard about this statement, I don't care how much you know unless I know how much you care. And Srila Prabhupada didn't capture his disciples only with his vast knowledge. He captured his disciples with his genuine love and care. And on Srila Prabhupada Vyasa Puja, we read a little bit from the book Care Personified. And if you like, I can send it to you. From the book Care Personified, that describes Srila Prabhupada's care for his disciples. So they developed trust in him, not only because of his knowledge, but also because of his whole attitude. And his attitude is described here. He genuinely cared for every soul in the material world, especially those who have approached Krishna. In every possible way, physical, emotional, etc. So the result of stopping offenses, the result of regretting offenses, the result of seeing the quality of saintly persons, being delighted by seeing Krishna, Krishna's deities, the result will be that you will become more compassionate and you will want to help people. You will stop thinking, and what about me? And what about me? And what about me? And what will happen to me? And what about me? But you will think, how can I help others? Prahlad Maharaj speaks about thinking of each other's welfare. So of whose welfare we are thinking every single day? Are we thinking of the welfare of devotees? Are we thinking of the welfare of people that Krishna has sent to our lives as family members, friends, neighbors, passers-by? Or we are just thinking about ourselves, about our own salvation, about our own needs? So one big symptom of spiritual advancement is selflessness. You start thinking of others. And now you may think, well, what about me? Well, by helping others, you're also helping yourself, because you're getting huge points in the eyes of God. He is fascinated by this. Why? Because he said it himself. He said, there is no one more dear to me than one who preaches Bhagavad Gita to devotees. Tapyante loka tapena sadava prayasojana paramaradanam tadi purushasya akilatmana. This is, can you find it? 8744. Can somebody find it? 8744. Even if you find it in German, it's okay. 8744. Tapyante loka tapena is the first line. And you can read it, and somebody who speaks English can translate it in English.
Tapyante loka tapena sadava prayashodhanaha paramardanam tati purushasya akilatmanaha.
Translation?
It is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart.
So can you see how helping others is connected to your own relationship with God and your own salvation, your own enlightenment, your own upliftment? It's directly connected. God made it like this. God made it like this. So it's not that only people will benefit whom you are helping, but you will also benefit. You will get points in God's eyes, spiritual plus points. And what is the suffering? You have a lunch, 10 preparations, and you say, I was in Spain, and they say, siesta. What is siesta? Who knows? Sleeping after lunch. In Spain, this is mandatory, obligatory. You have to do it. Otherwise you are bogus. So, what do you do after lunch? Beautiful lunch, especially in this temple. You say, oh my God, I'm so sleepy. And Prabhu comes and says, Prabhu, we go on the lake on Harinam. You say, oh, okay, yes, Hare Krishna, Jai, mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Sankirtanya ki Jai, Paramijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So you sacrifice your bear tendency. You know bear? He sleeps during the winter. And you make a big sacrifice and you go on the lake and chant. And you smile even you don't feel like smiling. Maybe you have eaten too much lunch. So you smile. So people can think that Hare Krishnas are ecstatic. At least you are doing good PR, even if you don't feel like. So there are so many sacrifices we can do. And you know, like if you ask me, what is training? One answer can be, every day do something that is not easy for you. Out of your comfort zone. How many of you like comfort zone? How many of you think the comfort zone is comfortable? Come on. I don't believe you. Because comfort zone becomes uncomfortable after some time. Very uncomfortable. And that's the mercy of God. Otherwise we would rot in the comfort zone. So every day doing something that is a little bit more difficult, little bit more difficult, this is good for our stretching, for our growth, for our advancement. So today you can ask yourself, okay, what will be today I will try to avoid today? Maybe going to the dentist, or maybe going for a walk, uphill, downhill, or maybe going, I don't know, shopping, or, I mean, for Krishna, or anything that is difficult for you, Harinam, Sankirtan, preaching, listening to people, supporting people, anything that is not easy, then you say, okay, let me do something that is not easy for me, to show Krishna how serious I am, to surrender to him, and to sacrifice my own comfort for his pleasure. And let me see what will be the result. And then you can let me know what your experience. Thank you very much for listening. Do you have any questions? Srila Prabhupada ki jai.